What up, though? It's your spooky cousin with another spooky story. Come on, come sit down. Okay, so this is the house, the haunted house in Detroit where me and my mom and brother, were living at the time. And so me and my brother are having a really good time. We're running around, we're having fun. And then my mom was just like, hey, I'm about to go put some meat on the grill. I'll be in the backyard just in case y'all looking for me. And so we're like, okay. So she wasn't out there long, and then she poked her head back in the house and she said, hey, can you bring me X, Y, and Z from the basement? So my brother, we went down the basement and we gave her what she asked for. And my brother was like, we should ride our bike. And I said, okay. So we go down the basement to get our bikes. Now, mind you, the only thing that should be down there are the couches, the TV, the area rug, the computer, and our toys and bikes on the other side. So we're grabbing our bikes. And while we're grabbing our bikes, I hear talking, like loud talking. So I turn my head to the left. And when I turn my head, it's a lot of people. When I say a lot of people having like a meeting or something, but it was a lot of them. It was a lot of ghosts down there. And they were sitting there and ignoring us like we're the dead ones. Like, excuse me? So fast forward, my brother, he took off as soon as he saw them. Took off. But me, it was this spirit that locked eyes with me, and I couldn't quite move just yet. And so I was looking at him, and his lips weren't moving, but I heard a voice say, we're just passing through. Why you gotta pass through here? So when he said that, I ran upstairs, and then my brother had already beat me to it, telling my mom like what was going on. So when I got out there, I hear him say, it's a bunch of dead people downstairs. But y'all, he said it so loud, the neighbor heard us, and I'm pretty sure they thought something was wrong with him. So my mom does what she always does. She comes in the house, she prays, grabs her Bible, and when she gets down the basement, they're still there. They have not left. So my mom is looking around, and she said, they are really having a meeting. So fast forward, it's time to go to sleep, and everybody sleeps with their door open. And I'm a light sleeper. So my brother was walking past my room, and he used to sleepwalk a lot. And it actually used to be so bad that my mom used to have to sleep in the living room. And my dad would do the same and stuff when we would go to his house, my stepdad. And so I got scared because I thought maybe he was about to walk out the door, because that's, it's been a couple of times where he actually made it out of the door. So I got up, and I was about to go get my brother. And then I see something standing with him holding his hand. So, of course, I'm about to interject. But before I even had a chance to, the man that was down the basement appeared. The one that said we were just passing through. And I truly believe that when he said passing through, he knew that we were going to need him. So the next thing you know, when he appeared, the thing that was holding my brother's hand scurried off quickly. There wasn't even a fight. And so the man that was in the basement that appeared, he led my brother back to his room and gave me this look like, all right, now go back to sleep. I didn't even have to wake up my mama. But I did tell her about it. It's just the fact that I've experienced so many things. In my family, we've experienced so many things that there's not a doubt in my mind that there are protectors around us. Because on way too many occasions, I've met these spirits, these guides, these angels. It's just crazy.
I don't care if it's still August. School is officially over, therefore it is spooky season, so I'm gonna tell you a spooky story. This is true, and this happened to me. So you're gonna need a little bit of context before I jump right into the story. My grandparents on my mother's side live out in the country in Oklahoma. When I was younger, we would go out there and visit them frequently, at least once a year. This particular time, we're going to visit them. I can't remember exactly how old I was. I want to say I was like 10. Somewhere between the ages of like 8 and 11. So we go up there for a small family, like close family reunion type of thing. I should also mention that this house is old. If that wasn't already obvious, this house is old. It's old as my grandparents. It's older than them. So at this reunion, everyone's outside. They're grilling, barbecuing, sitting, chit-chatting, talking, whatever. It was starting to get a little bit chilly, so I was like, I'm gonna go inside and get a jacket and I'll be right back. So I run inside. Mind you, nobody else is inside the house. Everybody's outside getting their barbecue on, okay? I run inside up the stairs to my room to grab a jacket. In this room, there's the closet, and then next to the closet right here is a little door for a crawl space. I grab my jacket, I turn around. The crawl space is open. The door is cracked open. I'm like, oh, okay, let me just go and close that really quick. I go over, I open it a little bit because I'm like, what's in there? Not expecting there to be anything in there. I open it, and there's a staircase. A long staircase going up. So what does 10-year-old me do? I go up the staircase. Something was just speaking to me, telling me that this door was open for a reason and that I'm supposed to go up in here. So I get to the top, there's another door. I open the door into this grand hallway. It's like white and gold marble columns, but it's a long hallway. And there's a bunch of doors going down, and then another door at the very end. Immediately, I'm like, what is this? Where am I? And a little freaked out, obviously. Something was calling me to go to the door at the very end of the hallway. Forget all the other doors, go to the one at the end of the hallway. So I start walking down this very long hallway. And all of these doors are shut, right? And then I feel like something's watching me. I look and I see further down the hallway, one of these doors on the left side, an old woman, a very creepy old woman, is peeking her head out of the door and watching me. And then I would see her pop out of a different door and be looking at me, and then a different door and then be looking at me as I kept progressing down the hallway. Finally, I reached the end of the hallway to the door at the end, and I was so compelled to open it. So I opened it, and I left the door open. When I entered the room, I left the door open, okay? And it's a complete change of environment. The hallway was white and gold marble columns, like very clean, very, I don't know, elegant. Walk into this room, it's like your basic old dusty attic. Boxes, spider webs, it's dark, creaky wood. And there's a circular window across from me at the other end of the room. The same exact circular window that you can see from the front yard where everyone is outside. So I walk over, I look out the window, and I can see everybody down there, but it's like there's a weird filter over it, where it's in like black and white, and they're all skeletons. Everyone's there, moving around like normal, grilling, laughing, playing, but they're skeletons. And as I'm registering this, processing it, the door behind me slams shut, and I turn around, and the creepy old lady is standing behind one of those piles of boxes, looking at me with the most sinister, it was the most evil I've felt in my life. I ran faster than I've ever ran in my entire life. Out of that room, back down the hall. I did not look back a single time. Back out the original door, back down the staircase, and I shut the crawl space door behind me. I grabbed my jacket off of the bed where I had set it before I went up there, and I put it on, walked downstairs and back outside like nothing happened. The next time that I come over to visit my grandparents, about a year later, I have not told my grandma this story. I've not told her anything. I come over, I go to sleep in this room. I'm already a little bit apprehensive about it because of the previous events. I step into the room, and I see that the crawl space is now boarded and nailed shut with blankets over it as well. They boarded that up. And then just recently, a couple years ago, I actually told my grandma about this, and all she does is go, yeah. Goodbye. I think this is the most terrifying story I've ever heard. One of my old high school friends just called me, and I actually had to pull the car over because she told me a story that she wants me to share with you guys that has me absolutely floored. She said that her and a couple of her girlfriends went to a cabin outside of Banner Elk, North Carolina, which is in the Appalachian Mountains. They were staying at her friend's family cabin out there, and again, this is a family cabin, but they rent it out and let other family members and friends use it. She said the cabin was really quaint and cozy. There was 2 bedrooms downstairs and like a kitchen, living room area, and then there was a loft upstairs that you have to climb like a ladder to get up to. The first night they just hung out. They were drinking some wine, gossiping, catching up with one another, that kind of thing. And she said everyone went to bed. So 2 girls slept in one room, 2 girls slept in the other room, and they just left the loft open. She said in the middle of the night she couldn't sleep because she woke up and was absolutely freezing. She walked out into the living room area just to check like the heater or whatever, and it said it was set to 72 degrees and the thermostat read 72, but she was so cold she could see her breath. She ended up just putting on like a bunch of extra sweatshirts and found some extra blankets in the closet and went back to her room and fell asleep. The next day they woke up and they're just kind of like drinking their coffee, looking around the cabin, and they find this like guest book that was sitting at the entryway of the cabin. Next to the guest book was like a Polaroid camera that they could use like whenever family would come and stay. They would write like a little note, whatever, take a Polaroid picture and leave it in the book. She said they're like looking through it and her friend's like, oh yeah, this is my uncle so-and-so and these are old friends from like wherever. But then they got to one page and there was this picture of a guy that her friend did not recognize, and she's like, I don't know who this guy is. And the only message he wrote is, I love it. I wish I could stay here forever. The other odd thing is in the picture, it was like a selfie picture that he took with the Polaroid, and he was missing his index finger. So he was just like, hi, but the index finger was missing. The friend was like, this is not someone that we know. So she takes a picture of the Polaroid picture and like the handwriting and sends it to her mom and is like, who is this guy? The mom had no idea. The mom was like, I honestly have no clue who that is. The friend was like a little uneasy by this, but she's like, okay, I mean, I don't know, weird, but whatever. Nothing strange happened the rest of the day, and then they go to bed that night, and this is when things get really strange. She wakes up in the middle of the night again, freezing. This time she wakes up her friend, and she was like, why is it so cold in here? Her friend was like, I don't know, you're right, it's absolutely freezing. They get up to get more blankets again, and then they start hearing footsteps in the loft above. They are obviously freaking terrified at this point. They run out of their room and run across the living room into the other girls' rooms to wake them up. They're like, something crazy is going on. We're hearing footsteps up in the loft. It is freezing in here. So they all just kind of huddle together and stay hidden in that room together. One of the girls is like, we need to call the cops right now. But then the girl who owned the cabin was like, no. It could just be a raccoon. It could be anything like that. So let me just peek out and see if I see anything. So she opens the door and is able to kind of like look up into the loft area, and she doesn't see anything. As soon as the sun comes up, they work up the nerve to get out of the bedroom, and one of the friends decides she's going to go up and just see what's up in the loft. There's nothing up there. Nothing seems out of place. She's like looking around. She doesn't see that anything's fallen or that anything's, out of the ordinary. But then there's a window, and on the inside of the window are 4 fingerprints sliding down the glass. She climbs back down the ladder. She is screaming. She is freaking out because she said she saw them appear and slide down the glass. They waste no time. They just grab their things, get in the car, and go home. I'm still sitting here just like, I just cannot believe this story. What do you guys think about this? What do you think it could be? Drop it in the comments. And if you want to hear more stories, just follow along.
If you're not into really creepy stories about the paranormal, literally just scroll past this video. But if you are, I have a truly scary paranormal story for you. So this happened to me 2 years ago when I went on a birthday trip to Las Vegas. And basically, I really wanted to see this place called the Mob Museum. I was literally fascinated. I was like, I have to see it. And I'm really into forensics, and the organized crime stuff sounded interesting, so I wanted to go. So I go to the Mob Museum. It is 3 floors. I start at the first floor, I look all around. I go to the second floor, I look all around. And before I get to the third floor, I realize it is 10 minutes until closing, and my mom's like, hey, just meet me downstairs, you go ahead. So I continue up these stairs to the third floor, and when I get up there, I'm the only one there. There's no one up there. which was fine with me. I'm actually thinking at the time, this is awesome. Like, no one's in my way. I can just make my little round and head out. So when I get up there, I look kind of to the left, and there's a room where there's like a purple, real groovy looking couch, real groovy looking living room setup. And I'm thinking, oh, that looks cool. So I walk in there. Immediately when I walk in there, I just don't feel right. I don't know how to explain it. I don't feel great. Like, I just feel off. It felt like I just suddenly was like, came over with like just this creeped out feeling for some reason. And I didn't know why, because I was just admiring this like real unique looking living room setup they had going on up there. That was until I look over to the right and I notice that there is a whole wall with a display of very graphic crime scene photos. And that wasn't the problem, okay? Like, I've seen crime scene photos. I've taken classes in forensics and stuff. But these pictures, I've never seen pictures like that displayed like that on a wall, framed with plaques underneath. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I started thinking that was why I felt off initially when I walked in the room. I was like, I don't know. I felt like the way that those people were being displayed was just like not respectful to the deceased. So my intuition was telling me, don't participate in this madness. Like, literally, let's just go. Let's just leave. So despite what my intuition was probably telling me, I'm literally thinking, I don't know. I kept gaslighting myself. I was like, maybe it's because the pictures, and I basically swallow the lump in my throat, and I'm like, no, I'm going into forensics. I have to be able to handle this. So I go up to the wall to look at all these pictures and the like stories of these people. I only looked at a couple that were on the very right side. I read like a couple of them, and then one of the other pictures from like over here somewhere caught my eye because it looked so old. It was like so saturated and so black and white that I was like, this looks like maybe the oldest picture on this wall. So I look at that picture. It's a real graphic crime scene of a man. I cannot say anything else about it on this app. So I go up to this picture, I'm looking at it, and at some point I go to read the plaque. So I move my eyes down from the photo, and as soon as I'm not even joking, as soon as I start reading this guy's name, dude, bro, as I'm reading his name, feel an energy rise behind me. Like, it felt like a tall person was like standing behind me or something, and I don't know how to explain why I felt like this specifically, but it felt like something was like hovering over me. Like, I don't know how to explain. I mean, it was just horrifying. It felt like something was like looking down at me, and I immediately feel like frozen. Like, the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. I have chills up and down my spine. I am not good. And I start booking it out of that room, and I'm surprised I didn't literally full sprint jump down those freaking stairs, but something kept telling me like, don't run or I'm gonna give off like more fear, more energy of fear. I was fully doused in fear. It probably would have made no difference, but I get down to the first floor. So I finally get down on the first floor, and I have to go down this entire corridor, like this entire hallway, and it's kind of a short hallway, and then you have to turn right to get to the exit and entrance of the museum. But when I tell you this felt like the longest hallway in the world, I'm telling you it felt like the longest hallway in the world. So I start speed walking down the hallway, and suddenly this energy that felt like was following me felt like it was literally standing in mine. It felt like something was standing in my energy. Like, I came over with somehow even more fear than I was already feeling, and start full on sprinting, about nearly falling over, like flying down these hallways. I'm literally just like flying towards the exit. And I get up to my mom, and she's like, oh my God, are you okay? I was literally like, thank God that's over. And then I get home, and some weird happened at my house. Some weird stuff happened at my house. And mind you, I've had paranormal experiences before. I have had things whisper in my ear. I have had weird experiences, but nothing made me scared like this. Nothing in my life. And I've been through cancer and like a lot of other things, and this truly is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. But if you want a part 2, let me know.
I don't know why nobody wants to talk about it. We need to talk about more paranormal activity that happens in the hood. Because, baby, I was born and raised in the hood. Born and raised. But the thing is, baby, I experienced some paranormal activity. I seen some scary ass shit. Because, especially with certain places that were gang affiliated, because some of them gangs were known for practicing dark magic, black magic. They were known for doing for evil ass shit, some demonic ass shit. And I seen some things. Like, we need to talk about it.
Hey y'all, it's your favorite cousin with another spooky story. I want you to come on, get your snacks, and come sit down. Let's go. So this woman said that she's not somebody that believes in paranormal at all. That was until she moved in with her friend. She said her and her friend decided to become roommates. So she says strike one was when her brother was helping her move her bed into the apartment, and she says that she heard somebody say her name. Now, when she heard somebody say her name, she knew it couldn't have been her brother because her brother has a very deep and distinctive voice. And plus, he was in the same room as her. So, of course, she said that she was taken aback because she didn't know what was going on and her friend was at work. She said strike two was when she was on cleanup duty in the kitchen and she was doing dishes. She said that while she was doing dishes, she turned around to all of the burners being on the stove. Now, because she's not a paranormal person, she pretty much ignored it and turned off all the burners. We gonna talk. That wasn't nothing to ignore. That was crazy. Anyway, so she said after that, after she turned the burners off, she said that she walked to the living room and she decided she was going to do some homework. Now, while she's doing homework, she said she's on her laptop and she can see something in the reflection on her laptop. But she said that she pretty much chalked it up as, I'm really tired. I've been at studying for hours. So maybe I just need a break. My eyes need a break. So she said while she was shutting down her laptop, she looked in her laptop. It's dark now. The screen is dark because she shut it down and she can see a reflection of something dark hanging from the ceiling. Did you ignore that one? She said that when she looked up at the figure, that it dove on her and that she was so paralyzed she couldn't move. She didn't know what was going on and she didn't know what to do next. She says that because her friend works a lot, her friend is a full-time worker and a full-time student. She said that her friend is never there for her to be able to, really talk to her about this kind of stuff. So, of course, what is she going to do? She said every day since she saw that thing hanging from the ceiling, it has done nothing but torment her, and she even sees it at school. She said that she saw it walking through the school library when she was doing her homework. Fast forward to, she's not religious, but her parents are. She said they're very, very religious. She calls them overly religious in the email. And she said that she thought being in their presence would help. So she decided that she was going to go home for a weekend. Girl. So since she was home for the weekend, she wanted to make fun out of it. So her family decided they were going to do family game night. After family game night, everybody got tired and everybody decided to go to sleep. Now, on her way up the stairs to her room, she said that the attic stairs were pulled down. Now, she said nobody ever goes in the attic, ever. Now, she says that she went up the ladder. And when she went up the ladder, she went ahead and she started scanning the attic, looking around. And she said while she was looking around, she saw red eyes staring back at her. And she, of course, tried to backpedal and hurry up and get back down the ladder. And she could not. She said before she knew it, she went flying down from out of the attic and she hit her head. Girl. She said at this point, she still didn't tell her parents. She decided that she was going to confide in her younger brother. She said that they're really close and she talks to him about everything. So she decided to tell him. She said while she was telling him, they were sitting in his room. And while they're sitting in his room, while he's playing his game and she's confiding in him, she said that the thing made itself known to him as well and stood there in his doorway. You need professional help. This is beyond me. This is crazy. This is crazy for real. Of course, the first thing I want to do is tell you to pray, especially if you said that your family, are real strong in faith and that they are Christians or actually Catholic, sorry, but still believe in God, still believe in Jesus. You really need to confide in your parents. That's who you need to be talking to. That's who you need to be talking to because it may be something, I don't know. This is crazy. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't go to the seminary. I didn't go. I'm so sorry. This is nuts.
If you ever find yourself hiking in Appalachia and come across a staircase like this, do not go up it. Someone left this comment right here and I started doing a little more research and what I found is astounding. There have been so many reported sightings of these abandoned staircases in the Appalachia woods. And it's a known rule that you do not go up these stairs. The story I'm about to tell you is chilling. This man had been hiking the Appalachian Trail for a few weeks when he came across this abandoned staircase in the woods. He said it was super out of place and that the stairs actually were like very clean, even though there was like a lot of leaves and stuff that had fallen. The staircase was like immaculate. Intrigue got the best of him, so he decided he would go up and just check it out and see where it led to. But he said as soon as he got to the top, everything just got eerily quiet. He looked around for a little bit at the top of the stairs. It was nothing too interesting, so then he just turned around and went back. But when he got to the bottom of the stairs, the trail was gone. He wandered around trying to find his trail for hours. It was starting to get dark out and he was really nervous that he was going to be stuck out there all night. And that's when he saw this like faint glowing light through the trees. The closer he got towards it, he noticed that it was a fire and it was a couple of other hikers that were camping out for the night. He was super relieved at first, but then something was off. He said their clothes were super out of date. They were wearing these boots that were like caked with mud. And he said that their backpacks, like instead of the normal hiking gear, like nylon backpacks, they were like these canvas totes. He said he walked up to the group and introduced himself, but they didn't say anything. They just smiled at him. He was really freaked out at this point and he was like, I'm lost. Can you all point me back to the trail, please? And they all just slowly pointed back in the direction of the staircase. At this point, he is freaking terrified. He turns around and like hightails it out of that campsite. Eventually, he was able to find his way back down to the trail, and this is the really freaky part. Once he gets back down the trail a little ways and finds a place where he feels safe to camp out for the night, as soon as he starts unloading his bag to put up his tent, the sun starts coming up. What he said should have only been about a 2-hour experience ended up being the entire night. This story had me spiraling, y'all. Have any of you all ever had an experience like this or heard of these staircases before? Drop it in the comments and let me know.
What up, though, y'all? It's your spooky cousin with another spooky story. Come on, come sit down. So this woman said that she was raised in a Victorian home. Her grandmother is the one that raised her. She said that the Victorian home was built by one of her family members years and years and years ago, like built by one of her great family members. So fast forward, she said that she was about 15 years old and she decided that she wanted to go to this school. But this school was extremely expensive. It was a college that she wanted to go to after high school graduation. She told her grandmother about it. Her grandmother told her no, it's too expensive and that she would have to stay home to go to school. So now she's upset and she's like, okay, I got to hurry up and I got to find some kind of job that makes a lot of money so I can go to my school of choice. So she said that she took the whole weirdo thing to her advantage and she went to school and she started telling people that she could communicate with their dead relatives, and they believed her. So fast forward to she started doing research on necromancy and Ouija boards. You was really reaching. Like, you didn't just like go get a Ouija board. You started thinking about necromancy. I'm scared of you. So fast forward, she went ahead and told her classmates to come over. They come over and immediately she started playing with the Ouija board. She started reading things from the necromancy book. And she said as soon as she started doing that, things started happening in the house. Now, she said when all of this was happening, she heard a high screech. And as soon as she heard that screech, her classmate was knocked out of the chair. And the other 3 classmates were taken aback, but were so excited that they saw something that they actually decided to stay. And they paid this woman more money. Fast forward, it has now made it all around school, and now everybody wants a piece of this. Everybody wants to come and give her some money so that she can, talk to their dead relative and stuff like that, or just simply experience something crazy. So she decided this time around, she would do all of this in the cemetery right next to her house. Fast forward, she said that when she did it in the cemetery, she happened to look up, and after she started saying the necromancy ritual, she said she looked up and she saw a lot of dark figures standing next to the trees, and one of them were standing on top of the tree branch. She said this did not make her stop. So you saw all that and you didn't want to stop? That's crazy, man. She then said that she read that digging in the cemetery actually opens you up to more of the paranormal. So when she started digging a hole in the cemetery, she said that a couple people pitched in and started helping her. Now, while they're helping her, she said that she sees the dark figures staring at her. They're just standing there. But she said that since it's right next door to her house, she figured, okay, since this is supposed to open me up to more paranormal, I'm pretty sure they'll come to the house. And she wasn't wrong. So now she says that she cannot sleep at the Victorian home. because it is completely filled up with a ton of spirits and a whole bunch of, I'm sure, demons. Now, I ain't gonna say all the dark figures were demonic, but I'm sure that you didn't just summon spirits because you live next to a cemetery. Fast forward, this is a whole 10 years later, and her grandmother has passed away since then. And she says that she resides in an apartment. She wants to go over there and to the Victorian home, and she wants to pretty much like fix it up, sell it. But she's scared to go over there and start doing anything because she has filled it up with spirits. Oh, Lord Jesus, help us all. I'm going to need you to give us an update because that just wasn't enough for me. That didn't satisfy me at all.
Y'all, there is an 83-year-old woman with a TikTok account that posted a story about her husband that had an ice cream truck. Her name is Beulah Mae Jenkins. She's 83 years old. She lives in Virginia. Now, her story started like this. I know if I just repost the video, it's not going to get enough views, so I came on here to tell her story, and you can go look up her page if you want to. So anytime I try to talk about my ex-husband and what he did for a living, nobody believes me. I've tried over and over again, but no one listens. It feels like they just brush it off like I'm making it up. Maybe it's because I'm older now and my story sounds too crazy, but it's the truth. I tried to tell the cops, I tried to tell my family, but they didn't want to hear it. They cut me off, actually. Every time I bring it up, they act like I've lost my mind. They think I've got Alzheimer's or something. It's hard to get old. You're not taken seriously. Your memories fade for people. They just don't believe you anymore. That's when I realized I didn't just marry a man. I married a ghost. He wasn't the person I thought he was. The ice cream truck secret, my husband's hidden life. Now, this is an 83-year-old woman, y'all. Crazy. My husband passed away in 2017. We were together for 10 years. I met him towards the end of my life. At first, I thought he just loved kids, always smiling at them, giving out free popsicles. He had this charm. You'd think he was the kind of man who missed having children of his own. He never wanted me to go near the truck, ever. Now you went to grab something, said it was messy or for business only. But one day, he was in the shower, and I needed to move it so the garbage truck could get through, so I opened the back. There was no ice cream, none. Just a cooler full of water bottles and a box of children's clothes, folded, different sizes, and something about that made me sick. I know this sounds crazy to some of you. Some people brush me off and say I'm old, maybe confused, maybe making things up. But let me ask you this. Why are there still ice cream trucks out after dark? She got a point. Why are children still disappearing, especially around Virginia? Why are all the stories about the same vans, trucks, missing kids, and nothing ever gets solved? Children in our neighborhood was going missing. They were the same ones he waved to every single day. The same kids he gave free ice cream to, called them by name, said they reminded him of his nieces and nephews. None of my kids talk to me anymore. I haven't seen my grandkids in years, all because I opened my mouth, because I couldn't pretend he was just a sweet old man with a popsicle truck. Started with this one man, a friend of my husband's. Name was Eddie, gray hair, tall, always wore that old leather badge holder on his belt, even though he was retired. Turns out he was a police officer for over 20 years. I remember the first time I saw him get in the truck, it was around 9:30 at night. I said, "Where are you two going this late?" And they just laughed and said, "Business never sleeps. Business, ice cream business," at 9:30 at night. That same night, a little girl 2 blocks down went missing, never came home from playing outside. So this is absolutely crazy, you guys. Look her up. Her name on TikTok is Beulah Mae Jenkins, Beulah, middle name Mae, last name Jenkins. Her at name is Feral Granny Beulah. I don't know if this is a real page, y'all, but it's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. If that's real, that's insane. I need to know y'all's thoughts.
So it's a ghost in my apartment. It's been a ghost. I've been knew it. I felt it the day I moved in this bitch. But the energy not malignant. So I don't bother him, he don't bother me type shit. We coexist. That's the homie. He the roommate. Last night he bothered me, so I put him in punishment. Right. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up to hear all this bumping, thumping, stomping, and motherfucking moving. So I wakes up, I'm like, "Hey, bro, usually I let you do your thing. It's 3 in the morning, you making too much noise. Go get in the fucking corner." I immediately stopped hearing the noise. And I have not heard noise since. I wakes up to go to the bathroom. This motherfucker was playing in the trash. My trash can is in the middle of the motherfucking floor. If you know me, you know I didn't do it. I'm clumsy. That shit sit right in the corner out of my footpath. I said, "My nigga, you tried to trip me? Cool, you ain't coming out that corner for the day. I'm irked. He playing too much. I don't got time. He getting too comfortable."